So, hello everyone, my name is Sadie Hopson from We Work Well, and I'm here today with an associate of ours, Liz, who's going to be chatting with me today about mental health, about specifically our mental health at the moment during the pandemic, and not just talking through some strategies that we can deploy at the moment, but some really good techniques for us to be mindful of moving forwards in the future to take control of our well-being in a more effective way. So, Liz, first of all, can you introduce yourself and just talk us through your background, who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, thanks, Sadie. Hello, everyone. So I work for a big corporate firm. I actually do mental health first aid training, and I do a lot of supporting the senior management. I do a lot of events. I do a lot of lunch and learns for people with mental health and wellbeing. I absolutely love it. My passion is mental health and wellbeing and trying to raise people's vibration. I'm also a holistic therapist. Sadie invited me on here because I just wanted to give people a few, tips about how, what's working for me. I have a diagnosis of bipolar and was diagnosed back in 2003. I've gone through depression, anxiety, psychosis. And for me, what's happened recently is actually good for my mental health because it stopped me rushing about. It's time to take stock. I've been doing much more of mindfulness meditation, which I'll give you some examples about that in a minute. So it's actually helped my positive mental well-being. And I get to choose who I speak to, and things like that. And I know we all face challenging and it is a really difficult time. But I think this is an opportunity, as Sadie said, rather than an obstacle, to actually, look at what we can do, what can we achieve, So
I think that's a really powerful message, just to look at empowering ourselves with the choices that we do have and the things that we can control and influence right now, because a lot of it is out of our hands. There is a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot that we cannot possibly affect or have an impact on, but there's still things that we can do for ourselves and to help ourselves during this time and beyond this time as well, moving forward to the future, because we don't know what that looks like right now, but we know the things that we can do to take care of ourselves along the way. So just to go back, you mentioned about mindfulness. Now, it's something that a lot of people have probably heard of the term, but there's sometimes a lack of clarity understanding about what mindfulness is. So if you could sort of talk through that, I think that'd help a lot of people.
Yeah, certainly. So, I'm a mindfulness meditation practitioner and I go into companies and offer this. So mindfulness is all about remaining in the now. So we all have busy minds, we all have thoughts going in all the time, but it's actually having the ability to acknowledge the thought and bring it back to the present moment. So it does take time and practice, but the more you practice something, the better you'll get at it. So for an example, I'll give you, if you go for a walk, rather than just maybe chat to someone, which you can do, but, look about the trees, smell, see what smells you can smell, listen to the birds. I've been going out at 6 o'clock in the morning with the dogs and I've just been looking at the sun, taking note of the sky, and it's just remaining in the now. Mm-hmm. You're going to get thoughts that pop in, which is fine, but bring yourself back to the present moment. So that's an example. Or even if you're in the shower, you take a shower, your head's going, oh, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Just enjoy the shower. So feel the water on you, look at the shampoo, put the shampoo and smell the shampoo. It might sound funny, but seriously, it concentrates your mind and you actually enjoy the shower rather than worrying about what's happening next.
Yeah, we so often get caught up in either what's happened already or what might happen next and caught up in this past or future thinking. So we're not actually in the present moment and we're kind of in a zombie state. And I really like what you're talking about, the going for a walk and being in nature and looking at the sky and the birds and what can you hear, what can you smell, how does the air feel on your skin, and just grounding yourself in that moment. And it is something I feel really, really powerful for me. And it's recently with our sort of a daily walk that we do with the dogs, I was sort of, it is ingrained in me that I always took my phone with me because, phones never leave our sides, do they? And I was talking to you before we started recording about seeing the birds and things, and I'd see something, go quick, get my phone. And people are so prone to wanting to capture moments with their phone and overthink. And it was like, do you know, and I had to start training myself to actually just leave my phone at home and just look at what I'm enjoying, rather than focusing on quickly grabbing it or overthinking it. Just enjoy it and be, nothing more. So yeah, I think that would be powerful. But I understand as well about the practicing part, because I must confess that I'm one of those people who says, no, I can't do that. It doesn't work for me. No, I can't do that. No, I'm too much of a overthinker. No. And yeah, you have to be patient, but it is something that you can embed in, like you say, washing up, showering, wherever you may be. Just be in that moment rather than being elsewhere. So I can imagine that's quite a powerful one right now.
Oh yeah, massively. And you're right. Your automatic thought is, I can't do this, I can't do that. Right? That is your belief, okay? Because you can. So if you change the word, I don't believe in the word can't, because I believe you can achieve anything in this world if you put your mind to it. Your mind is so powerful. And if you actually learn to control your mind rather than let it control you, it's amazing what you can actually achieve. And mindfulness and meditation, people, you know, and I understand you say, I can't do this, but it's like learning to drive a car. You know, when you initially do it, you think, oh, I can't do this. But then automatically it happens, and you just don't even think about it. So it's the same concept with mindfulness and meditation. Just try it literally. And the more you practice, you'll quieten your mind down. And then when you ask a question, like to the universe or something like that, you'll actually hear it and you'll ask for guidance and it will come to you, you know. Mm-hmm. It's great.
It is. I can see how passionate you are about it and how much you believe in it. It's like, yeah, it works. But it's like learning anything, because you think all your years on this planet, you've been reacting in a certain way. So to change that and introduce a new habit and practice a new way of responding to situations, it's going to take time. It would be odd if it didn't. But it's all about giving yourself and investing that time in practicing these things, and sticking with it, I think, is the key to it. Is the perseverance, isn't it? It's like anything, you know, you don't go to the gym once and suddenly you've got a six-pack. as nice as that would be, right? But it's not feasible and it's not realistic. So we have to be realistic with our expectation. We're not going to suddenly eliminate all the stress in our world by going to one mindfulness class, but it's all about being on that journey and going in the right direction. I know journey is a bit of a cringe word, but I honestly believe it is. And yeah, it goes to show how passionate you are about how effective it's been for you, what a difference it's made, and how effective it can be. So yeah, I think it's really, really something that can be quite powerful.
Yeah. And also you need to be in the right state of mind. I mean, when I was in a depression, if someone had said to me, oh, mindfulness meditation, I'd looked at them and said, what? You know, that would have been the worst thing. Yeah. You know, there's other therapies like cognitive behavioural therapy and things that helped me at that time. But because I've come through it, you know, now my mind is in the right state of, you know, in order to do meditation, mindfulness, exercise, you know, learning new things. So you have to be in the right place as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, with meditation, you know, it's what works for you. There's no right or wrong about you have to do it for 30 minutes or an hour. I mean, that would blow my mind. You know, even 10 or 15 minutes, it helps. Yeah. You know, there's apps out there, there's Calm, there's Headspace. There's a lot of free things on YouTube that you can find. Guided meditation is great, because if I just do it where there's nothing going on, my mind goes off at a tangent. Whereas if you're listening to something, it focuses your mind in on the voice. I mean, even if you fall asleep, I do, it doesn't matter, because then you're relaxed, you know, and then go again. So it's all different, but there's loads of information on the internet. So, you know, have a little Google and play around what suits you.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly right now, there's a lot of people offering things at reduced cost or for free at the moment. So it's a perfect time to think, okay, that is something that before I perhaps didn't have the time or the resources to be able to give a go. So, you know, take advantage of what's available at the moment to sort of go down that route and see how you get on. Just going back, Liz, to a point you made about beliefs and about the beliefs you have. So I mentioned about my beliefs about, no, I can't do that. What other beliefs do you think are prevalent right now that might be holding people back or affecting them adversely in the way that they're coping right now?
Yeah, I think we always as I said before, like remaining in the now is so powerful. We always think about what if that's going to happen, you know, how's that going to happen? Just try and see if you can stop. All right. I was speaking to my mum the other day and she went, oh, you know, it's all going to go down. It's, you know, the economy is going to go. And I said to her, you know, do you believe that's going to happen, Mum? And she went, well, yeah. And I went, well, why? How do you know? You're making assumptions about what if is going to happen. So she doesn't know. So forget that belief, okay, because it's only you making that decision, and just remain in the now. Live each day as it's, you know, for today. Don't worry about what's going to go in the future, okay, because we can't change it. So don't put negativity out there, because I think if people change their mindset and were more positive in this world, we'd have a ripple effect in the world. We'd change the world. There's a really good film that Kevin Spacey was in. I don't know whether you remember, but it was called Pay It Forward, I think. And, you know, have a little watch.
Write that one down.
But it's all about this young boy. Write it down. You know, he's 11 years old and he's a teacher, and he says to his pupils, you know, if you could change the world, you know, what would you do? And this little kid came up with this idea about paying it forward, as in, you know, I don't know, saying to someone 3 things, or you know, saying like random acts of kindness, like even holding a door open or something like that. If we all did that, it'd be a ripple effect. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with sort of sharing kindness or helping people out and things like that, especially nowadays, or even when we get back to, you know, without of lockdown. But the more and more people do that, we'll lift and raise people's vibration. All I can say is, the moment I stopped worrying about what is going to happen, what if this, what if that, my life changed, and remaining in the now makes a huge difference. And I'm not saying it's easy, because it is hard and you have to practice it. But believe me, it really, really works.
Yeah, it does. And just on points about what you're saying about beliefs right now, and there is a tendency to catastrophize and worry exceptionally so. And I understand that, but I'm sure it's about 93% of worries don't actually come to fruition or something like that, because we do create all these different realities and hypothetical situations. And what if this happens? And oh my God, what if that happens? And it's like, but will it? What are you basing that on? What information do you have to back that up? And what information do you actually have to the contrary? Because our brains have this tendency to go towards the negative rather than look at the positive side of things. You know, it's a survival instinct to try and think about what do I need to protect myself from? But right now it is the time to try and think much more optimistically, much more hopefully. And I really like you talked about kindness as well, and they say about the mental health 5 a day. Have you heard of that? So one of them is give back and be kind to other people. And right now we've got some wonderful examples of that in our local communities and beyond. You know, when any example you get to see of my local Tesco in Malden, I don't know if you saw the video that I shared. They basically, it was 2 a.m. it was the night workers, and they were all dancing to, I think it was Cha-Cha Slide, all in unison, obviously, you know, the right distance apart, but it was a beautiful moment, and it was uplifting, and it was positive, and it rather than, you know, everyone's putting their lives at risk, which I know they are, but how can we try and focus on the positive bits of what's happening, how people are showing kindness, compassion to each other. You know, the number of volunteers that the NHS had put themselves forward to want to do their bit and to want to help. I think that's a wonderful example. We've got the guy that's just raised, how much is it? 14 million? Captain Tom?
Yeah, it's gone up to 17 million now.
Like that just makes my heart glow. Like, it's just, they're the sorts of things that we want to be thinking about during this time, because our mindset, like you say, is so powerful. And it's the difference between thinking I'm stuck at home or I'm safe at home. You know, I'm stuck here and I'm restricted, or I'm doing my bit to help the community and protect the vulnerable and protect our NHS. It's how we actually think about it. And if we think of ourselves as part of a wider community pulling together to get through this, it makes a massive difference on the whole way that our mind perceives what is happening. And like you say, it's not always necessarily easy, and for certain individuals, depending how they've personally been affected by this, it is traumatic. And I understand that for some that is going to have a lasting impact, but I just think that we need to do whatever we can to try and come out the other side of this in in a more positive and empowering and enlightened way, like you say. So yeah, I think it does make a big difference. So you before we started recording, you mentioned positive affirmations and how powerful they can be. And talk me through these, because a lot of people think they're quite cheesy and cliche and like, you're great. You are, by the way. But talk me through how you find the use of affirmations and how they have an impact on you.
Right, okay. So how I look at the world, I look at it as like a mirror or a photocopier. Mm-hmm. So whatever you put out in the world, you're going to get it back. Mm-hmm. So it's like reflection. So if you put out negativity, you're going to get back negativity. You know, how often do you wake up in the morning, you get, I don't know, you stub your toe and that's it. Oh, you're in a bad mood. And it, for the rest of the day, you know, rubbish happens. But if you wake up in a positive mood or you flip it, your day generally goes positive. So I do affirmations, and it can be anything you want, but it's all positive. So I am this, you know, I am great, and I've planted them around my house, much to my husband's annoyance, because you know, I do it like it's already happened. All right. Okay. So if the universe doesn't know, you know, say it's a big open space in a mirror, if it doesn't know that it hasn't happened or that it has, it's going to respond to it. Mm-hmm. So for an example, I've written a book and it was published last year. So I put loads of affirmations around saying, thank you for my, you know, published book, and for you know, and it happened, you know, because I was looking at it, you know, and it was in my visualization, because I do a lot of visualization and things like that. I've got a visualization board where I put all my goals and things like that.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah, I do like workshops regarding that to try and raise people's vibration and that, and get people focused on what they want. And you do it like it's already happened. Mm-hmm. So you, rather than say, I want this, thank you for the fact, I don't know, I've been, you know, and to be honest with you, it's all about divine timing as well, but it will happen. And, you know, and I you know, sometimes look in the mirror, don't mind admitting this, and say, I can do this, you know, I know it sounds like, and you think, oh, it is really cheesy, but it works. Reaffirming. Yeah. It works. Yeah. Reaffirming in your brain, all right, get rid of that negativity, because as you said before, our brains are wired to automatically think negatively. So we have to retrain it to think positively. Yeah. Like an example would be like your boss calls you in the office, like mine normally does, and automatically I'm on the negative foot.
Yeah. That's it. I'm going to get sacked.
Oh no, you know. But how do you know? Because there again is a negative belief. Why are you putting that thought in there? Because he could be giving you promotion.
But that therefore has an impact on what happens, because if you program your mind that it's probably about that report that I produced last week and I bet there was a mistake in it, so straight away that you're going to walk into that room with a certain mindset, and they're going to talk and behave in a certain way and communicate with that boss in a certain way that could take that conversation a completely different direction. If you act frustrated or ticked off and you're already predicting the worst, then it's going to send potentially that conversation a different way and that interaction a different way, and their perception of you might shift. So it is so powerful when we start to take that back. But these affirmations, one of the things I do when I'm sort of working in training environments and talking to people is talk about self-awareness and self-acceptance. And I sometimes take a little hand mirror and basically say to people, right, just sit and look at yourself, like eye contact, and sit and look at yourself for a minute. They struggle. People are visibly, they're like, no, and put it down. They say, oh, I look at myself all the time. No, you're looking at perhaps your hair, brushing your teeth, but look and make eye contact with yourself. And, you know, that whole eyes are the window to the soul, and how powerful it is to make eye contact with someone when you're talking to them, to do that with yourself and to hold that gaze and think, that's me. That's who I am, and that's me. And being comfortable with doing that in itself takes people time to do. So then the next step is looking at yourself, and that is me, and I'm great. I'm successful. You know, all these different things that we can use to build ourselves up, like you say, to counter the negativity. But I think it starts with that self-awareness and self-acceptance. And, you know, even talking on videos to people. You know, we're so used to a lot of the time talking on the phone or texting or emailing things. And that's one of the things I like about what's happening at the moment. But it's something positive I'm taking, is the amount of video calls I'm having with people, video conferences. I'm doing loads more webinars over video and Zoom and things, and you get to see people and engage and connect. And I think that's going to change the way that people work for the better, because we're going to get more accustomed to looking at ourselves, to communicating in a more authentic way, rather than relying sort of the way that we communicate via a keyboard and via email, which can lead to miscommunication and misunderstanding. And this is how human beings are designed to interact, through face-to-face. So while there's practical limitations to that more than ever right now, I really like that things have sort of evolved in that way at the moment, because I think it's going to change things in the future for the better, to help people communicate more in a genuine way and like we're designed to do. So yeah, I think it's positive. Positive affirmations are positive. That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Sadie. Oh my goodness, what you've just said is totally rings true. And also, it's not to be afraid to be yourself. You know, for years I hid away, and, you know, people judged me and, you know, how they were. And I was always, you know, I had like a mask up. So people saw something different from what was actually going on inside. And you know, now in the last year or so, probably a year and a half, I've actually spoken my truth and been myself, and I'm not afraid to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm attracting the people I want to attract to myself, like positive people, and stepping away from negative people, because they do suck my energy, you know. And, you know, I do face challenges as well.
Yeah.
But it's how you respond to the challenge, and whether you take it as a negative or actually use it as a learning curve or something.
Yeah.
Because when I was, you know, back in 2003, someone said to me, you know, they said a good way to look at it is if someone says, you know, think of a really negative situation and then turn it around and try and think of 10 positive things. So flip it. So think of 10 positive things. So I thought about it, and I thought, oh my goodness, it was when I was sectioned in a mental hospital back in 2003. You know, being sectioned was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. But then I flipped it and thought, oh my goodness, it was the best thing that ever happened, because it saved my life. And it's now led me on a journey where I'm so passionate about mental health and well-being that I can now share my story and educate people and say to people, you can and you will get through it, and give people hope, you know. So that's why I do get so passionate, because I've been through it and lived it, and I know that whatever we're going through at the moment, you know, anxiety and all that, I totally understand because I've lived it. But we can and we will get through it. But all I'm saying is to use this time, because it won't happen again. You know, learn new skills. There's lots of, as you said, things out there that people are offering for free, webinars. There's training courses, you know, learn a new skill. I've been doing a certification for mentoring young adults regarding mental health and helping children. You know, I've just finished that, but I've had the time to do it. You know, read books. There's, you know, I love The Secret, which is all about the law of attraction and how that works. You know, there's gratitude out there. There's The Magic, which is all about practicing gratitude. And, you know, I practice gratitude. I'm grateful for what we've got, because at the moment it's been taken away from us, you know, but normally it's in abundance, isn't it? We have a choice of every single restaurant. We have an ability, but at the moment it's been taken away from us. So now it's like, you know, we should be so grateful that we're going to come out of this in, you know, 2 or 3 months. And look what we've got.
Yeah.
Be grateful.
Yeah, I agree. And if you think how many times people in their life say, I'd love to, but I don't have time. I'd really like to learn a new language, but I just don't have time. We often use these sorts of phrasing, and rightly so, because life is busy and we're often hurtling about at such a pace, just trying to keep all the balls in the air and everything we've got to get done ticked off, most at least. So now, rather than thinking about what we can't do, it's about, for me, thinking about what we can do. Now, I'm not saying put undue pressure on ourselves, because there is a lot of people, I think, suffering from, you know, comparisonitis, where they're thinking, oh, my friend's just done this and they've done that and I haven't done. You know, it's not about that, but it's about thinking individually what you can and want to do, what's feasible given your personal situation. Some people are furloughed, some aren't. You know, some are still trying to work whilst juggling childcare. Some, you know, if they are furloughed, they're struggling with what that means and what that could lead to. But it's about knowing your individual situation and what you can do to positively influence that for the better, for you moving forwards. You know, with one of the clients that I work with, each week, everyone gets together on a Zoom call and they talk through something new they've achieved or learned that week that's completely personal, nothing to do with their professional work or life. And, you know, it might be, we had a guy, and he played a little riff on the guitar that he'd learned, and somebody showed a cake that they'd baked. And yeah, it was just quite cool. You know, some of them quite significant, like some of them was talking through like a whole load of stuff they'd learnt in Spanish. Somebody else was like, oh, I managed to make, what was it, something without burning it that they'd never done before. And, you know, it doesn't matter the scale of it. It's just about thinking, okay, this week I achieved XYZ, you know, and we're all going to be very different in what that looks like, but it's about focusing on what you've achieved rather than what you've lost. And I think that is what it really comes down to. So you mentioned the book that's out. Am I right in understanding you've got another book in the wings, or is that something tentative? Or
well, it's weird. I have been thinking about it. I mean, my other book only came out last year, so you know that's currently you know, doing well, but because a percentage of that goes to mental health charity anyway, which I, you know, I'm very passionate about, as you know. But yeah, the next book, I am thinking about it, but it's quite out the box. It's all to do with spirituality and how mental health sort of in with that, and beliefs as well. So it's all about faith and belief. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, because it's going to talk about maybe Christianity, you know, Buddhism, shamanism, you know, all those sort of beliefs, I think, how it affects mental health and spirituality. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And a bit out there as well.
Good. Oh, it sounds very intriguing. Definitely. So is that one of the things that you're taking this time to be thinking about and reflecting on and considering?
Yeah, no, definitely. And also on my, I do a lot of my Heads to Mind. I'm converting that into a charity, so I'm looking at that at the moment. So I'm doing that. And also my sister and I are planning a Facebook live on a daily basis next week. So we're just going to do a maximum 3 minutes, because we don't want to, you know, bore people out, but we're doing it on different subjects. So, you know, where she excels, she's going to do, like, she's a hairdresser, so she's going to give hairdressing tips. You know, she's got schools. So she's got school kids, so she's going to talk about homeschooling, teens, you know, teen tips, and yoga and things like that. So she's going to do her subjects, and then I'm going to do it on, you know, gratitude, affirmations, you know, different books, mindfulness. So we're just going to do like a 3-minute slot each day, just to raise people's vibration and, you know, hopefully make people laugh as well. So
love it. I'll have to tune in and check it out. So that starts Monday, does it?
It starts Monday, yeah. But we just thought we'd just...
Mine's Facebook page.
Sorry?
Is that on your Heads to Mind's Facebook page?
No, it will be on my own page. Okay. So, yeah, Liz Rotherham. So it will be on my own face page. So
excellent. Yeah. I look forward to tuning in on that. Excellent. Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk through or talk us through? I think we've covered some brilliant points and quite empowering points as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you very much. I think you're amazing, Sadie. I met you.
Likewise.
What? 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Right, everybody, just to let you know, I met Sadie 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's amazing, and she's so, like, you know, professional. Honestly, seriously, I did. I've never met you before, but I was like, wow. Anyway, we've been trying to sort of trying to get together for the last 2 years. And it's never worked out, has it? I mean, we've never actually, you know, we didn't talk at that event because you were busy, and now we're actually talking, which has taken 2 years.
I know, it's like a pandemic, eh? But, well, as soon as this is all over, we'll have to meet for a coffee and a big hug, because I think it's well overdue.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I find you so inspirational. I really, really do. And I think what you said earlier about hope, and when somebody's really been through it, they can talk with a certain amount of credibility in my eyes to say, no, you can get through this and you can recover, because it's all well and good saying, no, you'll be fine. No, just write down some things you're grateful for. Do some breathing, you'll be all right. But when you've lived it and you come out the other side and you live and breathe it and you're passionate about it like you are, I think it really hits home a lot more. So yeah, hopefully the tips that we talked through today will help some people during this time and beyond. Because after all, it's not going to
definitely
come out the other side. So yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much. And I will speak to you and see you.
That's all right. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Take care, honey. Thank you. See you later.
Bye.